What up, YouTube? It's Anti-Negative here, and I got a kind of spicy brew. It's a little bit spicy, but, you know, it's kind of a new take on what, you know, I used to play a lot of Boros tokens, and this is going to be blue-white tokens. Why blue-white tokens? Well, we got a couple new cards, one called Moonlit Meditation and another called Exalted Sunborn. So these two cards, when you play them together, create a lot of tokens of specifically Sunborn. But yeah, so what you can do is you can warp Sunborn, and that is for 2 mana. Put Moonlit Meditation onto Sunborn, and this is like after you've kind of controlled the board a little bit, have an Elspeth on the field. But what these both allow you to do is create double the amount of tokens. So what we're trying to do here is create 4 Sunborns. And after you create 4 Sunborns, then it exponentially increases the amount of Sunborns you make. So if this is to stick, then you can create 30 tokens on your next uptick of Elspeth. Or if you're lucky enough to have 6 mana on turn 6 and you have a Caretaker's talent, what you can do after you've done this little wombo combo, you warp this onto the field, attach the meditation to Sunborn, tick up talent, then you can make like 30 plus copies of that Sunborn, and that goes out of control. Alright, so wombo combos aside though, if you were to just have Sunborn on the field, just take meditation out of the equation, Sunborn, warp it, you have like a carrot cake, maybe unticked up Caretaker's talent, and a Stormslayer Elspeth on the field, then you can make like 12 tokens. And that by itself is enough to win the game. One problem this deck always kind of had was that it wasn't able to kind of end the game quick enough. So this deck is kind of designed to, you know, pick up a lot of low-costed units, low-costed enchantments, artifacts. So pretty good against Vivi. Only got 1 Starcage in the main, but we have a ton of board wipes as well. Yeah, enjoy the video. Hopefully it shows you a little bit of what this deck can do, if not just Sunborn and Stormslayer. And yeah, thanks. All right, we got a matchup here. All right, looks like this opponent's pretty low on the ladder. Doesn't mean anything, though. They could still be trying to climb back. They could be playing some kind of troll deck. They could be playing a brew. Our hand's looking pretty okay, though. We got 2 lands. You know, that's not great, but we do have some interaction for anything early. All right, so let's start off by playing Archive here. Got a Citadel. There's our 3rd land. We don't want to mill that. Okay, hello. All right, what are they going to surveil here? Ooh, that is an Oculus. That's a little bad for us, but we'll try to play through it. It's bad for us in the sense that we can't actually answer it on 2, and we can't answer it turn 3 either, because we don't have any removal that removes a 3-mana creature in our hand right now. So it's not looking great. And if they helping hand here, even worse. Oh, and that's a helping hand. Ouch. Okay, so I can seam rip this face down card, or we can just play Caretaker, so I draw some cards. I think it's Operation Draw Some Cards. did not hit a Caretaker, or not Caretakers, a like Voice of Victory or a Carrot Cake, so we're gonna have to just kind of play around what we got right now. Okay, that's a Clarion Conqueror. They're just teching for the VV matchup, so we can get 2 blockers here. That kind of slows down their clock, but as it is right now, they have about a 2-turn clock. So we're gonna play this Mistmoor. Draw a card here. All right, that's an Elspeth. So unlikely that I draw an untapped land here. It's not looking great even if I block. We'll wait for the next turn cycle to see if I draw Day of Judgment so I can like answer their board for a bit. We do have to keep 1 token up just so we can draw a card here. Like if I get untapped land, draw into Day of Judgment. They can also just have a counterspell up too, so either way it's looking pretty dim. That archive into Oculus on 2, it's pretty brutal. Alright, they got Balemerc here. Mills a Helping Hand, grabs Charming Prince. Alright, they could flicker one of these face down cards, pretty much play for free. Or they can scry, they can do whatever. Alright. Any day now. Okay. It looks like we're dead. So we're probably going to go to game 2 here. No problemo. Alright, so we're going to grab our Beyond the Quiet there for the Exile for this Oculus. Probably go down at a couple seam rips because they don't have very much early interaction or things we need to interact with early. So we'll also cut that Starcage and then go up on No More Lies so we can counter some early game helping hands. Go down on a Voice, maybe cut something up in the high end like a Storm Slayer or something. Maybe not since we need that to interact. We got our vacuums, got our seam rips. Yeah, let's just cut a Storm Slayer here and call it. We have enough interaction. I want to keep in the combo here just so maybe we can showcase it. Either way, the big way to like win with this deck is not always through the meditation, but just through like Sunborn and Elspeth just flooding the board. So let's see if we can do that. All right, so a ton of lands here, not the greatest, but we do have Sunborn. We do have ways to look at the top of our deck to either move lands out of the way. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that. We want to find some interaction here. It's all good. We can play this Temple of Enlightenment here. Not my favorite land, but you know, you gotta make sacrifices when playing in blue-white. All right, so that was 3 lands off the top there with our 5-land keep, which is not great, but pretty much if we just draw only non-lands from this point on, we're totally chill. And it's looking like they don't have anywhere close to the same start that they did before. I don't know how they're putting Oculus into their graveyard. They could have like Charter Course or maybe Emmett Selk, which is a 3-mana Dimir creature from Final Fantasy. Alright, so they have Seam Rip for our Ghost Vacuum, which is pretty odd to put in, but I'm guessing they just anticipated that I would have that. Alright, so that's an Ultima, that's fine. We'll keep that Ultima. And we'll pass the turn. Alright, so they have a Preacher of the Schism here. Not the worst card I've ever seen in my life. Let's see, why would they have that in? They can hit that off Helping Hand. That's a pretty decent hit off Helping Hand, I guess. All right, so now they're going to just swing in. They get to draw a card, make a 1/1. We're not too far behind on board, although we are kind of behind on cards. Let's see what we're going to do next turn. So if they leave up a couple mana, I'm going to assume that they have a counterspell, just because they're in the colors that would play No More Lies. That is a Ghost Vacuum. I'm guessing this Ghost Vacuum is so they can vacuum out their own yard. Let's not assume that they're just putting it in for no reason. Okay, so we could play Stormslayer here. We could also try making a token. Let's just make a token here, see what we got. I can even copy that token if I wanted to. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna see what they do. I think I'm gonna make a token right now to see if they like remove it. Just so I can bait out any interaction. I don't think I care about what they're doing yet. Just because I'm only taking like 3 damage on this turn. I can also block 2 damage. Let them get in with that 1/1. Just because I have Ultima, I don't really care about their board yet. They haven't even shown me that they can like draw, discard a card, make me worry about an Oculus yet. So we'll see what they do. They had a very early start that last game from the high roll surveil. So, okay, so now they're going to get lost. They don't want me to draw a card. That's fine. All right, so I took 1 damage from the Fountainport there. I'm going to block the 2 damage, I think. Yeah, we'll just get in like this. Sounds good. So, I mean, we have the combo here with Sunborn and Stormslayer. Maybe we can hold out a little bit longer and try to, you know, find meditation. I don't think they have Spell Pierce. They didn't give me any inclinations that they'd be holding that. So I'm just going to play Stormslayer here, make a couple 1/1s, and move. Next turn, if they kill my Stormslayer, I can warp the Sunborn and make some more 1/1s with Fountainport. Let's see what's on our top deck. I'll play Caretaker. Same kind of situation here. I can Sunborn, make some tokens, and then with Caretaker, and this is them removing Sunborn here. All right, okay, so they have the Charted Course, and they're playing a pre-combat, so they want to discard something. They seem like they're strapped on lands, so we're just going to assume that that's what they're looking for. Okay, there goes the Oculus. And they can Helping Hand here. In which case I would respond with Ultima. Not the greatest board wipe when you have Elspeth on fill, because you would want to make tokens post board wipe. Ending the turn doesn't allow that, so you would just have to tick up anyways. Alright, we're going to block with a 1/1 here. Keep our 2/2 around. And now they can go untap land into Get Lost on my Elspeth here, or play tap land, play Helping Hands, and that would get me to Ultima. Again, we're not assuming they have Helping Hand in hands. We want to make sure that they don't hit us blindside with an Oculus. So we're just going to hold that Ultima as long as possible, because that's our only form of interaction here. Everything else, I'm just kind of playing like the go wide mid-range game here. So it's not really the best plan, but it is a plan. So that's all we can do here. All right, so now we have Sunborn into Carrot Cake into make some tokens, and I'm down with this. Let's warp. Let's surveil what we got. If it's another board wipe, I'll probably keep it just in case. Because remember, Ultima is my only form of interaction, so if I get another Ultima like this, then I'm going to want to keep both. But we're just going to go ahead and make a bunch of tokens. So now I can make 8 tokens here. Well, actually, I can make 12 since I can actually sack the carrot cake as well. So let's make some more tokens here. That's 4, 4, and then let's make another 4. That would be 12. That's a lot of tokens. Now I want to preserve my life total just a little bit, so I will block with 1. And I can make them all fly next turn as well. I could swing here. I don't want to lose my 2/2 though. Okay, so they didn't have interaction for my Elspeth last turn, so I assume they don't have it yet. They could draw into it here if they swing with the Preacher. I could block with 4 tokens if I wanted to. That would lose a lot of power, and I could technically just one-shot them next turn if they don't kill Elspeth here. So we're just gonna stay like this. So they're swinging Charming Prince here. I'm gonna assume they don't have the removal yet, unless they just drew it. So we're just gonna not block anything. Since I did gain 3 life. Alright. So what do we got? You can go land, do something, kill Elspeth. Alright, so they got to get lost off the draw, or else they wouldn't have swung at Charming Prince. Swung that Charming Prince like that. Grabbing my Elspeth for fun. Okay, they shock in. Little crazy there. Okay, so now that prevents me from using these explore tokens, which I guess is fine. So we're just gonna play the Sunborn and swing all, because that is a lot of damage wide. I don't care about losing this 2/2 now. So now they just don't draw any more cards off this Preacher, and they're dead on board. Next turn. They would need another removal spell for the Sunborn if they really want to live. They would also need Oculus this turn, but Oculus doesn't really save them either, especially if they're going to helping hand it. They also have been kind of exiling cards from their graveyard, so doesn't really save them there either. Alright, so now they have the chance to make a 1/1, sure. Alright, Seam Rip's alright. So we're gonna go Seam Rip, probably kill that 1/1 token. Next turn, they've only exiled my graveyard with the Ghost Vacuum, so they have nothing to worry about from there. They can't like flip it and turn it into something good. So they have to animate the Restless Anchorage. Restless Ridgeline is the gruel one. So we want to make sure they don't get any life here. Yeah, and so if they double block Sunborn, they're just dead on board. So they have to like chump the Sunborn and then just kill a couple tokens. So we're just gonna swing like this and see how they block, see what happens. Alright, so it's Animate Anchorage here from them. They are forced to do this. Then, in response, during blocks, they can get lost the Sunborn. If they do that, then I go Fountainport, make 2 tokens. This is one of the cool things about Sunborn is that it, like, even if you do lose your Elspeth, you still have like the token doubling aspect. So it just makes this token deck have a lot of outs. All right, so they chose death. That's fine. All right, game 3. I think sideboarding I did perfectly here. So they just really didn't have anything going on if they weren't helping handing. So they have to have that going on. I don't know what else they have in their deck. They're playing Esper, so we didn't really see that much of their deck. They just kind of drew a bunch of cards and then did nothing. So that might be why this brew of theirs is kind of failing. Although Oculus decks aren't doing super well right now. Jeskai Oculus was the clear best version of this deck, and most of the time Jeskai Oculus was winning with profs, and that deck has devolved into what VV Cauldron is now. So technically that deck is still alive and kicking and doing exactly the same thing that it's been doing since before rotation. It's just that they've cut their Oculus and their reanimation package for full Izzet, Cauldron, and VV, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, the Sunborn package did a lot there. In one turn, I made 12 tokens. So that was a lot. Let's see if we can do something like that again. It was pretty much like I had no board until I built a gigantic board in one turn and then won the game. So it's less about it being win more and more about it being a win con, because I wasn't really controlling the board. It wasn't like I denied everything they needed to do, although I could have wiped their board at any point. It was just I recognized that I had just a window to go wide really quick and then kind of just overwhelm their board. So that's really what you want to do here. Okay, so this hand is okay. I don't have any interaction again, which is not great, but I do have an Ultima, a Caretakers, and an Elspeth. So if I draw into Sunborn here, then I can do the whole thing over again. So we're gonna just try to hope and draw a Carrot Cake, maybe Voice of Victory, something like that. All right, they did not get lucky this time. We did get lucky though. We drew a Carrot Cake, and we have 2 Caretakers now. So if they get lost one of them, we can deal with the next one. Okay, so Rolling Dragonstorm, pretty good with Clarion Conqueror because they can put this back in their hand with it on turn 3. Not really anything to be too scared about yet, unless they put an Oculus into the graveyard. And land goes in the graveyard, so we're not worried. So I do have a full playset of starting towns, watching them discard that starting town. I could play that in this deck, but this deck is way more mid-range than it is like me needing to have untapped land on turn 2 all the time or turn 3. So it's all good. Alright, so Caretaker's down. They have no counterspell. They have a big pause there. I'm guessing they're just going to get lost to talent. The next turn I can, you know, play another talent vibe. Okay, so they have 4 mana. Play Anti-Causal Vestige. That's a pretty good card. I'm a big fan of Causal, Vestige, and Oculus specifically because this guy can just put Oculus into play. It seems like they don't have it though, or else they probably would have discarded it with Dragonstorm already. So they kill my token with the Nora Run, which seems kind of bad against my deck. Okay, so we draw a card here, which was a great card draw because we now have our 5th land for Elspeth. So they're gonna have to answer this second talent at some point, or else they will get advantaged out of the game. All right, so what do they play now? We get to see another one of their neat little cards. Wow. So that's Zoo Effete, Osteoharmonicist. And that guy can turn dudes into skeletons from the graveyard. Not afraid of that in the slightest. So we're just going to play Elspeth here, and we're not going to kill it. We're just going to make some tokens and move on. Even if they do animate some type of or reanimate some type of big dude, I'm still not afraid of it. So we're just going to probably even let it swing in here. I think I'm going to hold on to my tokens. See what you play next. You can just play the Vestige out. Okay. Alright, so we got Starting Town in hand. I was saying that I don't really need it, but, you know, it's in the deck. It's not really a huge part of this game plan. You know, it's good for Caretaker, good for talents and whatnot, but... Okay, so we're just going to make some more tokens. We can play Voice of Victory here. Ooh, Sunborn, that's a pretty good hit. I don't want it to die yet, so let's just play Victory, I think. Then we can draw a card off of one of these map tokens if we want to. Can also make a couple tokens. Next turn I can play Sunborn, take up Elspeth, and then make like 8 tokens all at once. So we're just going to hold back here, block with a couple tokens so Elspeth doesn't die, or 1 token, let it hit for 2. Big thing here is I just never kill this Vestige because I don't want them to sneak in something eyeball related. Alright, so we're gonna block the Vestige and just kind of move on. Okay, split up. That's fine. Bye-bye Voice. That would have been pretty good with the Sunborn, but... Okay, so now they're gonna draw cards instead of discard. They kind of need to fill up their graveyard a little bit. We're also never going to get an Oculus in play. Also, this Zoophyte is actually doing nothing, so I feel like we have the board under control here. They really have to just blow up this talent, I think, or else I can build a gigantic board with them not being able to answer it, so that's kind of what we're going to do. We have 2 token doublers here. I'm going to draw a card before they do this. So we'll make 2 tokens, then draw a card. Yeah, we'll keep that. Just in case I need to answer, like, something actually annoying. This Vestige can just be chumped forever, so we're not afraid of that. I think it's time to play out the Sunborn. We have 7 map tokens here, which is a lot. I've had somebody counter something I've done with Sunborn on the field with like offer you can't refuse and made like 45 treasures. This is after like doing the combo with meditation. Alright, so we're going to make a bunch of tokens here. I'm going to make a token with Fountainport as well. We could go and make like 4 mana with the treasure there, but I think we're just going to set up to win the game instead of trolling. Alright, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, didn't know that was on top of my deck before doing anything, so, you know, I could have maybe drawn a card and then made a bunch of tokens there with the Sunborn and meditation combo, but next turn they're just dead on board. So if they want to kill Vestige or kill a Slayer with the Vestige, I just chump with 1 token, just like this. And then we zero her and she's gonna win the game for us, so. That's another Vestige. That doesn't help them. Alright, that's a land. It's like they're dead. Alright, they all go into the air. We have a lot of flyers. Alright, that's GG. Good game, opponent. We were able to play with the Sunborn and Elspeth multiple times, make a ton of tokens. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do the combo, which is make a bunch of Sunborn tokens. But we did get to, you know, do a lot of silly stuff anyways, you know, because obviously 2 tokens from Elspeth would have slowly won the game. But the Sunborn just puts it over the top. You could even just not play Meditation and just play Sunborn and Elspeth just together by themselves. Just leave the Meditation out of the equation and, you know, make a ton of tokens and win the game. But yeah, so this deck is pretty good against VV. It's pretty good against random mid-range stuff like this. Obviously, they're pretty low on the ladder, which doesn't really matter too much, but they'll play silly stuff like this. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Try out the deck, and yeah, let me know if you had fun. But yeah, it's definitely a fun little combo here. Sunborn plus Oculus equals, or sorry, not Oculus, plus Elspeth equals lots of power. So thanks again.